here after Colorado's sixth preseason practice. And Brian, some great post-practice interviews today. We talked to one of the surviving members of the 2022 Buffs squad, and we were just talking before we hit record. Andre Hart, I think, is probably every media member's favorite guy to talk to on this staff.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Hart, we'll get more into it, but just so engaging, and he's a funny guy, and I just love hearing him. You get good insight on the linebacker group, and then he also has the personality to go with it. And Trevor Woods was kind of funny today too. Just talking about how some of the guys are still here. Everybody knows what they went through, and they kind of give them a little crap a little bit, and kind of know what they went through. Show some respect to those guys as well. And so you have to respect guys like Trevor Woods, Marvin Ham, that have survived this place, and they're in positions now to maybe be starters on this team. And Marvin Ham, I don't think you and I would have projected that maybe in the spring, but Coach Hart did say that right now, if I had to play a game, Marvin Ham would be one of my two starters. So a lot of props to those two guys for going through what has really been a lot of down here at Colorado to fight through all this, still be surviving, and be in a position to start.
And Trevor Woods had a good season last year. He was a true sophomore, so certainly not a polished product by any sense. He was pretty raw coming in terms of coverage. Yeah. And even today I asked him where he's made a stride, and he mentioned that again. So the last two off seasons, he's really improved in that area. If he keeps improving in coverage, he could be an NFL guy by the time all is said and done, because he's got that playmaking gene that you just can't coach.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a guy that you go back to his true freshman year, and he blocks the punt against, I think it was Arizona, right, and brings it back for a touchdown. He's just a playmaker. He's one of those guys, and there are people that they weren't following this team before, and they see the transfers coming in, and they say, well, none of these guys are going to start. They don't understand that Trevor Woods is a really good football player, and so are these other guys. Shiloh is a very good football player. Cameron Silman Craig, these other safeties are very good, but Trevor Woods is right up there with them, and he very much could be a starter and a big-time playmaker for this team.
And there was a well-off media the other day where they were going around the room mentioning the guy in each room that really set the standard. And Trevor Woods was the guy that was mentioned by that group. So he's obviously gained everybody's respect, including his new teammates.
And part of that is Trevor's always been a no-nonsense, just go out and work type of guy. And we talked about the other day, with who were we talking about? With Travis Hunter. That's kind of the makeup of a lot of the guys on this team, and that Coach Prime has set is it's no nonsense, get out there and work. And Trevor Woods, that's what he's always been here.
Yep. Another guy that's no nonsense is Vonta Bentley, and that's another guy in Andre Hart's group that people are really high on. I didn't get a real good feeling from Clemson about what his potential was going to be. But when you look at his stats out there, I mean, the production was off the charts for the amount he played out there. And ever since he's gotten on campus here, he has carried himself like a starter. Yep. He has carried himself like a leader. And Coach Hart mentioned that he takes hard coaching, and he really is kind of the model, at least player, and from a student standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. And to that point of taking hard coaching, he mentioned that there was a day last week or recently that he decided to switch up the group. And he put Vonta Bentley as the second teamer. Didn't say anything, but let's just see how he handles it. And he went out and had his best practice ever as a Buff. And so you got to like things like that fires up a guy like Vonta Bentley. That competition is going to be really interesting to watch because for me, I've always kind of penciled in Vonta Bentley and Demoy Kennedy. But you hear Marvin Ham come up, and you're like, okay. Brendan Gant's not fully healthy and cleared yet, but that's the guy that could get in that group as well. So, I like the top of that group. You got a bunch of freshmen down there that, maybe they still, as what did Coach Hart say? They're like the Thanksgiving turkey. Yep. You still got to let them cook a little bit before you can pull that meat off the bone. But, there's some of those guys like that, but I really like that veteran group.
Another guy, too, Jeremiah Brown, who is more on the edge at Jackson State, and it sounds like he's practicing exclusively in that linebackers room right now. He's another guy that kind of seems like a playmaker. He even made a big play in special teams in the spring game here. That's what people out in Jackson said, that this is a guy that is going to get on the field at Colorado. There's no question. It was kind of the sentiment I got.
Yeah, for sure. And he was obviously playing more of that outside edge role at Jackson State, had a lot of sacks and TFLs. Playing inside is a different role for him, but Coach Hart said that he's really taken to it, and he started to blossom there as well. And so that's another guy, part of that top group. That's four right there. I mean, that's a four deep of veterans that I really like. And Jeremiah, he's going to be one of those interesting guys because he's sort of a tweener in a new position, but I'm excited to see him as well.
You mentioned Demoy Kennedy earlier, one of the four-star transfers they got in this program, a lot of hype around him. Charles Kelly had a chance to watch him kind of developed before that torn ACL last year, and thinks the sky's the limit for him. And we heard that he made a great play in coverage on Dylan Edwards today, and so it sounds like he's kind of backing up some of the hype here early on this preseason.
Yeah, it sounds like that speed is legit. That he's definitely got the speed there. And with guys like Demoy and Jaquez Robinson that both played for Charles Kelly at Alabama, I look at both of them and I say they must be good players if Charles Kelly wants them here to be a part of his defense. And we've talked about Jaquez as well, but Demoy, if he's here, that's because Charles Kelly believes in him. And when he's healthy, it sounds like he's going to be really good. It sounds like the knee is not slowing him down at all because he's making plays on. Dylan Edwards might be the fastest guy in this team, and the play that Coach Hart described sounded pretty impressive. That he was able to break on this ball, a little wheel route, and break up the pass. So, or at least make the tackle, whatever it was. But he was there to make the play, and so I'm excited to see Demoy Kennedy's speed.
If they can get Brendan Gant in there, that gives them more depth. I look at that linebackers group, and it could be. It seems like a group that has a potential low floor or a potential super high ceiling.
Yeah.
And it seems hard right now to predict exactly how good is that unit going to be in terms of if you wanted to rank it against your conference opponents. It's hard to tell at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But I see the potential in that group. I don't see them being a bad linebacker group. I just wonder how good they're going to be. Could they could be a special group. I mean, I think if Demoy Kennedy is as advertised, and if Levonta Bentley can take that same type of production and put it in the amount of snaps he's going to get here, and if Marvin Ham is really that much better, Brendan Gant, Jeremiah Brown, that group right there, if they can live up to their potential, that's going to be a really good linebacker group, and you're going to see some rotation. The last few years we've heard, well, when Nate Landman was here, not the last few years, coaches would always say, we want to try to limit his snaps, but they couldn't because you didn't want to take him off the field because there was such a big drop-off. I'm not sure there's going to be such a huge drop-off. You can maybe have some rotation and where you're putting some fresh linebackers on the field.
All right, we are chugging through camp here. We'll be back with more analysis on Thursday.